Futures Part 1. This video is about daily settlements and margin calls. So example number 1, you have the text here and it is quite a lot to read, quite a lot of information, so I have highlighted the information you actually need to answer the question. So I have highlighted here the information that is important for you to answer the question. So first, in blue, you have the information relative to your position. So you start with an account, which is called a margin account, with $2,000. And you start with one futures contract. So a long position means that you have bought one futures contract. And the size of this contract is 12,500,000 yens, which means that essentially you have bought one contract that obliges you to buy 12,500,000 yens. And in green you have the foreign exchange rates of the 4 days that matter. So day 0, day 1, day 2, day 3. Okay. And the question is, what will be the balance on the account after 3 days, given that every single day you have to make a settlement? So what is the settlement? Essentially you have to receive money or pay money on the account, given that every single day you have a change in the exchange rates. Okay. Before we move on to calculations, I want to remind you of how the settlement happens according to your position and the change in prices. So if the price goes up, then the short trader is actually losing. Yeah, and you can see that because this arrow represents the amount of money that goes from the trader to the long trader, to the short trader, sorry, from the short trader to the long trader. And it goes like that. The short trader pays its broker. The broker will pay the clearinghouse member. Sometimes they are one company. So basically you pay the clearinghouse member. The clearinghouse member does not keep the money. Your broker doesn't keep the money. Nobody keeps the money here. Yes, they're all intermediary. So the clearinghouse member will pay the clearinghouse, which very often is the exchange, but not always. And the exchange will not keep the money either. They will pay another broker, so it can be one company here, and this broker is going to pay the long trader. So we can see that if you have a price increase, the long trader is making money. You can guess that if the price decreases, the opposite happens. Yeah, and you can see it by following the arrows. So if the price goes up, sorry, the price goes down, the long trader is going to pay the broker. The broker pays the clearinghouse. The clearinghouse pays the other broker, so it can be one company, and the other broker will pay the short trader. So essentially, if you look at this thing without the intermediaries, when the price goes down, the long trader is paying the short trader. So a futures market is a zero-sum game. If you lose, somebody else is making money. Yeah, but what we need to remember is that if the price goes down, the long trader pays, so they are losing. So now let's go back to our question. Day 0, you have $2,000 on your account. The exchange rate is 0.8011 per 100 yens, which means that it's 0.008011 per yen, and this is the amount, the exchange rate we're going to use to do the calculations, and each contract is 12,500,000 yen. Day 1, the exchange rate has gone up from 8011, so 0.80, no, so, sorry, 0.8011 to 0.8057 per 100 yen. Because it has gone up, you as a long trader are going to make a gain, and the amount of the gain is simply the size of the contract times the difference between the prices, between the foreign exchange rates, which here we have to use the value per unit. So if you do these calculations, you get $575, which will be added to 2000. Day 2, you look at the exchange rate. It has gone down. So down from what? From 0.8057 per 100 yens to 0.7996 per 100 yens. Because you're a long trader, you're going to make a loss. But the calculation of the amount is more or less the same as in day 1. So it's the size of the contract times the difference in exchange rates, and it gives you 762.5 loss. So it has to be subtracted from 2000 plus 575. Third day, what do you see? Well, the exchange rate has gone down again from 0.7996 per 100 yen to 0.7985 per 100 yens. So because you're a long trader, you are making a loss again, and the loss is the size of the contract times the difference in exchange rates gives you $137.5. Putting it all together at the end of the third day, your balance is the amount you had at day 0 plus the amount you had at day 1 minus, because it's a loss, the amount on day 2 minus, because it's a loss, the amount in day 3, and it gives you $2,325. Second example is about margin calls. So this is the text of the question. And again, I have highlighted what you need to focus on. So first, this time we have the opposite position. You are entering a short. So you're buying a short, basically. The size of the contract is 5,000 ounces. You have a balance at day 0 of 4,000, and it says here that the maintenance margin is 3,000. So that's something new, and we're going to see what it means in a minute. Before that, and you see in green the relevant price at day 0. And you have the two questions. First, what change in future prices will lead to a margin call? So we need to find out what margin call is, and what actually you have to do is calculate a change in the futures price. So 12.20 has to go up or down. And then you have to say what happens if you do not meet the margin call. So before, right, what is a margin call? So a margin is something we've seen in example 1. Is simply an account a trader has with the futures exchange via a broker. So essentially the broker is an intermediary that the trader will deal with, but essentially the money goes to the futures exchange and then to the trader that has the opposite position from you. The new information is in this question is the maintenance margin. It says here that it is the lowest amount of money you must keep in your margin account. Straightforward. And it leads also very straightforwardly to the concept of margin call. So if you need to keep a certain amount of money at all times on this account, if you lose money during the daily settlements that we've seen in example 1, if you lose money and the balance goes below the maintenance margin, then you will be called by your broker and you will have to deposit enough money to bring the balance back to at least the maintenance margin. So we have seen that the maintenance margin here was 3,000. The margin at the beginning was 4,000, so at the beginning of the exercise. So it's clear that you will get a margin call when you lose $1,000. Right, now let's go to the question. What change in futures price will lead to a margin call? So you get a margin call when you lose $1,000, yeah? Okay, that's clear. But now, what change in futures prices? Well, the question doesn't say if the price has to go up and down. You have to figure it out yourself. And to figure it out, you have to remember that you have a short position. And also, if you go back to the beginning of this video, when we were looking at the daily settlement, we said that if the price goes up, the long position gains. Yeah, so let's see. Has a gain. Yeah. Let's rewrite it properly. So price goes up, the long gains, and price goes down, the long makes a loss. And I also said that a futures market is a zero-sum game. So if somebody is losing, somebody is gaining. So when the price goes up, the short is making a loss. When the price goes down, the short is making a gain. You see, it's the mirror image. So because we want to lose $1,000, then we know that the price needs to go up. By how much? Well, you need to lose 1,000. Your contract is 5,000 ounces. So the amount you need to lose is 1,000. Well, no. The change in the price is 1,000 divided by 5,000 gives you 20 cents of dollars, of $1. So the new price is going to be $17.20 plus 0.20 cents dollars gives you $17.40. So that's the answer. The change is 0.20. The new price is. Question 2. What happens if you do not meet the margin call? So you have nothing to calculate there. All you have to say is that if you do not meet the margin call, your account will be immediately closed. Your position will be immediately liquidated by the exchange, and essentially as a trader you'll be expelled from the market. This is it.